The night, a tired student changed what India was allowed to feel. His name was Abhijeet Dipke, 30 years old, a student in America far from home. On May 15, 2026, he read 4 words on his phone that changed everything. India's top judge had just called youngsters cockroaches. Chief Justice Surya Kant was not whispering, he was speaking in open court. There are youngsters like cockroaches, he said, who don't get employment. He meant it as a warning, but a generation heard it as a verdict on their entire existence. Abhijeet, a young man, did not hold a press conference. He did not call lawyers. He opened a laptop. What if all cockroaches come together, he typed on X. Then he built a Google form. He called it a platform for the lazy, the unemployed, and the chronically online. He was still smiling when he pressed post. Within 24 hours, 3.7 million people followed the Cockroach Janta party. Within 72 hours, it grew to 11 million. A Google form meant for a joke collected 350,000 memberships. Real politicians signed up. A generation that was told it did not matter was suddenly impossible to ignore. Abhijeet had not slept. Al Jazeera called, then the Tribune, then Z News. He fielded messages from Chicago, speaking about a country he had left, but never really left. Those in power think citizens are cockroaches, he said. Cockroaches breed in rotten places. The CJP did not only live online. Volunteers put on cockroach costumes, antennae, cardboard shells, and took to the streets. They cleaned public spaces. They held protests. They laughed while they marched. They were making a serious point by refusing to be serious in the way power expected. The CJP published a 5-point manifesto. Their website's tagline, "Voice of the Lazy and Unemployed." To join, you needed to be unemployed, chronically online, and able to rant professionally. It was satire, but the 5 points underneath the joke were completely, painfully real.
Mahua Moitra signed. Kirti Azad signed. These were not anonymous people. They were sitting members of parliament. A satirical party's Google form had become more credible than press releases. The CJP had gained 16 million Instagram followers. BJP, the world's largest party, had 8.8 million. The name was not an accident. Cockroach Janta Party, CJP. The ruling party, Bharatiya Janta Party, BJP. One letter changed, the rest stayed. It was designed to make you look twice, to make you wonder how different these two parties truly were from each other. The joke was growing teeth. Reports emerged that CJP supporters were seriously considering contesting the Bankipur Assembly by-election in Bihar. A satirical movement born from one sleepless night and a Google form was standing at the edge of real politics, blinking in the light. This is what Chief Justice Kant failed to understand. The cockroaches were not lazy. They had degrees. They had tried. They had applied, been rejected, applied again. The system had no room for them, and then asked why they spent so much time online, angry at the system. Abhijeet was in Chicago when he started this, but the CJP was not American. It was not even only Indian. It was what happens when a generation that has been dismissed in every country and every language finally hears one joke that says, "You are not alone." That spreads fast. Cockroaches have survived 5 mass extinctions. Every attempt to erase them has failed. They do not survive because they are powerful. They survive because they adapt, multiply, and thrive precisely in the places the powerful leave broken and neglected. Abhijeet knew this when he chose the name. 3 days, 16 million people, 350,000 members, one sleepless student. no funding, no party headquarters, no permission from anyone. He had asked one question: what if all cockroaches come together? He was still waiting to see the full answer. The CJP did not just mock the system. They wrote down exactly what they wanted changed. Here are the 5 real demands from the official Cockroach Janta Party manifesto. Point 1. No retirement reward for judges. No Chief Justice shall be granted a Rajya Sabha seat as a post-retirement benefit. A judge who is thinking about their next government job cannot give truly independent judgments today. Point 2. Delete a vote, face arrest. If any legitimate vote is deleted from electoral rolls, the Chief Election Commissioner shall be arrested under UAPA, because removing a citizen's right to vote is no less than terrorism against democracy. Point 3. More women in Parliament. Actually more. Raise reservation for women in Parliament and state assemblies to 55%, not the 33% floor that already exists, but a number that actually reflects women's share of the population. Point 4. Betray your voters, lose your career. Any MLA or MP who defects from their party shall face a 20-year ban from contesting elections. If you were elected on one promise and switch sides the next morning, you should not be allowed back. Point 5. Teach young people how power actually works. Channel the energy of the so-called lazy, chronically online generation into political awareness, higher voter turnout among 18 to 25-year first-time voters, and contesting elections at the panchayat and municipal level. The cockroaches do not just want to complain, they want to learn, organize, and stand. What we learn from this movement? The CJP did not change India's constitution. It did not pass a law. What it did in 72 hours was prove that a generation dismissed as lazy and worthless had not given up. They had simply been waiting for a language that told the truth without asking them to be polite about their own pain. That is not nothing. That is, in fact, everything.